When I was invited to speak here, I was immediately referring to one art piece of my past that was Richard Kriesche in 1991, when Austria launched its first space mission with an Austrian cosmonaut on the Mir station of Russia. And there was one associated experiment in this scientific realm that was called ARSAT. And this was created and coordinated by Richard Kriesche, and I had the honor to be involved in this ARSAT project as well. ARSAT, one contribution done by Richard was asking Franz Viehböck, who was the first Austrian cosmonaut, to sit in the space station and go for 1.5 hours around the globe, thinking about a message he would send down to Earth. After the 1.5 hours, this message has been sent, and Richard received it in Graz and sent it to a robot, to a welding robot, which welded the ASCII code in the formulation, in the forms of the northern and the southern hemisphere constellations to this steel plate, and it's called ASCII Sky, still visible in Styria, in the Schlossberg, which is the city mountain of Graz. We have been invited, you might recognize this young talent, Gerfried Stocker, in 1991, have been invited as ex-base to contribute to ARSAT. And we came up with this project of cosmic Eierspeis. I don't know what that would mean. Cosmic, whatever, squirrel eggs, something. What it was about. It was about langage, langue, parole. It was about this idea of the communication with this outer space station. We got this telemetry data sent from Mir, and via Moscow, via Ukraine, back to Graz. There was a live video connection as well, and we were sitting there in the TV studio, live on TV. And we were creating these data gloves. The data gloves that you can see here in this picture, where I had the honor to write the software, my first machine learning algorithm that I did there. It was about reading the positions of the hands, interpreting it as sign language letters, the sign language alphabet. This was transforming, in a way, the audified telemetry data that was coming down from Mir. In a way, actually working with sound as it would be clay, like really bending the sound, forming different acoustic sculptures, if you want to say so. But the coming together of the different communication systems, like the telemetry high-end and this archaic signature, both kind of create a new system of roles in communication, setting up a communication by combining the codes. And the result is a new system of possible signs as a language. There was even more to it. If you see that picture, there was a little robot on the top. It was holding, maybe we can see it here a little better. It was holding an egg. And it was holding a magnetic switch that was holding a spoon. And on the egg, we had painted the continents of the Earth. And the egg was a raw egg. At the end of the performance, we asked Franz Viehböck, the cosmonaut, to send Morse code data. And in the rhythm of the Morse code data, the spoon was going up and down, clack, 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 and kicking the egg. to the point where the egg broke and the raw egg fell into the pan underneath, which had the outline of Austria. But more than that, and I would like to read the original text of the project from 1991. More than that, this was an experiment on how to socially work with this new communication infrastructures that were popping up at this time. This project constitutes a contribution to the current search for adequate codes for the social, technical environment of a society, increasingly relying on the resource of information as its drawing force. The primacy of the spoken word seems to be obsolete. The physical material absence of communication in electronic telemedia and the related elimination of the time-space domination and dimensions has not yet an equivalent in present cultural techniques. In this project, the will to experiment is therefore more important than the wish to obtain a product. Why do we do space art? I think it's drastically important to understand that our notion about the future is very, very strongly, globally, as a society, very, very strongly driven by the scientific impact on how we look to the space, to the extension of our habitat, to the notion on how to encounter new fields. That is reflecting back to us as single individuals and reflecting back to the way we see our future. And if science creates knowledge, art creates meaning. Thanks a lot.